Hello and welcome. This video is the first video of a series on Section 5 ASME BPVC Boiler and Pressure Vessel Code. Section 5, that is for non-destructive examination. This video series is generally intended for people who are preparing for ASME, preparing for API ICP examinations, that is either 570, either 653 or either 510. This series is also good for the people who are studying for ASNT NDT level 3 examinations. So even if you're doing NDT level 3 examinations or API ICP examinations, Section 5 is going to be the main one of the main codes that you would have to refer, because in most cases we have talked about that whenever there is some kind of a damage mechanism or some kind of non-conformances that are present in a component, those has to be detected by some means of non-destructive examination. So for ICP examination, we have seen that thickness measurement is one of the key aspects of identifying the remaining life of a component or corrosion of a component. In that case, UT is going to be the better option, and accordingly we'll have to identify the UT procedures. We'll have to make sure that our inspectors are qualified, and all those requirements will be given in ASME Section 5. Same thing with tank inspection. In tank inspection, we have seen that there is radiography inspection that we might need to do. We might need to do leak testing such as vacuum box testing or bubble leak testing. We might also need to take thickness measurements with ultrasonic testing, or if we have fillet welds or if we have lap joints, in that case also ultrasonic testing can be used. So those requirements are also will be identified by ASME Section 5. So this video series is generally recommended for those people who just want to know about non-destructive examination as it is written in ASME Section 5, or for people who are studying for ICP examination, because non-destructive examination is going to be a key part of your examinations. Approximately 18 to 20% of the questions for ICP examination are going to be from the non-destructive sides of things. Obviously, for new construction, generally this code would be referred. For in-service examination also, this code would be referred if your code concerned is referring to ASME Section 5. Okay. Now let's see how ASME Section 5 is structured. First of all, we'll have to understand that ASME Section 5 is divided in two subsections. There is a subsection A and subsection B. Subsection A will give you the general requirements of non-destructive examination for various methods. So subsection A, non-destructive examination, so different kinds of non-destructive examination are laid down, and some requirements are also laid down, some appendices are also laid down. So Article 1 is general requirements, the general requirements for any non-destructive examination that you do on a component. Article 2 is radiographic examination. So whenever we are talking about radiographic examination, we would generally refer Article 2 of ASME Section 5. Then Article 4 is non-destructive examination of welds. So Article 4 is ultrasonic examination of welds. Article 5 is ultrasonic examination of materials. So Article 4 is generally leaning towards a phased array UT and shear wave UT, whereas Article 5 generally refers to straight beam UTs for forging or wrought materials. So Article 5, ultrasonic examination methods for materials. So if you want to do material examination, if you want to do plate examination, you want to do thickness monitoring, in that case Article 5 would be referred. But if you want to do weld examination, in that case the section Article 4 would be preferred for ASME Section 5. Next is Article 6 is liquid penetrant examination. We already know that liquid penetrant testing is generally good for identifying surface discontinuities, any discontinuity that is open to the surface. Article 7 is for magnetic particle examination. Article 8 is eddy current examination. We have already seen eddy current is one of the good methods to identify conductive or even ferromagnetic materials for surface and subsurface discontinuities. These have generally higher sensitivity than magnetic particle examination. They don't just tell you about the defects, they can also tell you many other things about heat treatment. They can also tell you about the geometrical features of the component, and many other things. They can also tell you about coating thicknesses. Article 9 is visual examination. So whenever you do visual examination, direct or remote examination, Article 9 would be preferred. Article 10 is leak testing. In leak testing is further divided into 3 different techniques. You can have bubble leak testing, you can have tracer gas leak testing or halogen diode leak detector. You can also have helium mass spectrometer leak detector testing. So you have different kinds of testing techniques in a single method known as leak testing. So you have bubble leak test, vacuum box test, halogen diode detector, helium mass spectrometer test, pressure change test. So different kinds of leak testing are there. Article 11 is acoustic emission examination for fiber reinforced plastic vessels. Article 12 is again acoustic emission testing for metallic vessels during pressure test. Article 13 is continuous acoustic emission monitoring for pressure boundary components. Okay. Article 14 is examination qualification system. Article 16 is magnetic flux leakage. 17 is RFT, remote field testing. 18 is acoustic pulse refractometry. 19 is guided wave examination for piping. 20 is computed tomography. 21 is pulsed eddy current testing. So this was subsection A. So subsection A was telling you that different kinds of non-destructive examinations that can be done on various kinds of ASME component. Obviously not all of these testings are important for us. As per the examination perspective, generally the most common testing that we are going to do is going to be radiographic examination, ultrasonic examination, especially for ICP examination. Especially we are going to talk about thickness monitoring, but in some extent weld examination can also be done. We would be looking at liquid penetrant testing, we would be looking at magnetic particle testing. To some extent, visual testing is also preferential, because visual testing is generally going to be the first stage treatment that you will be inspecting, or first kind of testing that you are going to do on any kind of a component. Obviously the site should be accessible. If it's not accessible, then visual testing is not going to be the better option. We are also going to talk about eddy current examination to some extent, and in some cases leak testing is also an important testing method. But apart from these, not all testing methods are going to be that important when you're talking about API ICP examination or ASNT level 3 examinations. Okay, so in the next videos we'll be talking about different articles. So different articles will tell you about different testing techniques and what kind of testing techniques are needed, what are some essential variables, some non-essential variable, what are some qualification requirements, what are some procedures to be followed, what are some details that you have to mention on the report. All of these things are going to be in different articles for different inspection techniques. Now this was all for subsection A. In subsection B, you have different documents that are adopted by ASME. So generally they are ASTM documents. So different documents that are adopted by ASME section 5 are going to be written in ASME section 5 subsection B. So in subsection B, there are some documents that are adopted by ASME. This means whatever is written in the subsection B, that is also the requirement of ASME section 5. Okay, so subsection B will give you different criteria. So in this case, let's see one or two things. So radiographic testing, we already know article 2 is radiographic testing, but here you can see that there is something known as SE 94. So SE is ASTM E94. ASTM E94 is standard guide for radiographic examination using industrial radiographic film. So if you're doing film radiography, then generally you'll follow the requirements of ASME section 5 article 2 plus the requirements of ASTM E94. Then SE 747. SE 747 is standard practice for design and manufacturing and material grouping classification for wire type IQI used for radiology. So if you want to make an IQI, then the requirements are given in ASME section 5 article 2, but how to design it, how to fabricate it, all of those requirements will be given in SE 747. Okay, so the same thing, this is going to be, there are much more documents for various types of non-destructive examination. These are not that important. Subsection B is not that important when we're talking about examination perspective. But obviously, when you are making some kind of procedure, when you are qualifying procedure, or wherever you are taking qualification examination, in those cases, ASTM codes are also going to be taken into consideration when they are in subsection B, and also in subsection A, whatever the requirement is given for the testing method, that obviously has to be followed. Okay, so this was it for this video for the introduction of ASME section 5. In the next video, we'll be starting with article 1 of ASME section 5. Article 1 is general requirements. That's it for this video. In the next video, we'll talk about article 1.